the donkey and the salt. Freddy, the salt merchant, was in a fix. The shop from the other side of the river had asked him to come and deliver his salt to them. They had even said that they wanted him to sell them his salt every week. This would mean a lot of money for Freddy. There was just one problem. He would have to carry the salt to the shop and even cross the river in the process. Naturally, Freddy realized that he could not lift the heavy bags of salt all by himself. And so, Freddy went and bought himself a donkey. Next morning, Freddy loaded 2 huge bags of salt on his donkey and set off towards the shop on the other side of the river. Now, Freddy's donkey was having a very tough time. After all, the 2 bags of salt that were hanging on his back were extremely heavy. He could barely gather enough strength to stand. But there was nothing that he could do. So he kept walking very slowly. And soon they were at the river. Freddy urged his donkey to move forward and they started to cross the river. The stones at the bed of the river were very slippery, and it was getting more and more difficult for the donkey to walk with that heavy load on his back. Just as they reached the middle of the river, the donkey's foot slipped on one of the rocks and he fell down. What happened next was a big surprise for the donkey. A lot of the salt got dissolved in the water. As soon as the donkey got up, he realized that the load on his back was much lighter. The salt had flown away with the river, and now he only had to carry a light load to the shop. It was then that the donkey had an idea. Every time that Freddy had to go to the shop to deliver his salt, the donkey would deliberately slip while crossing the river, and thereby lighten his load. This went on for quite some days, and finally Freddy understood what his donkey was up to. So he decided to teach the animal a lesson. The next day, Freddy had to go to the shop once again to deliver his salt. He put 2 bags on his donkey's back, and together they started traveling to the river. Just as they reached the river, the donkey decided to fall and lighten his load. But alas! This time the result was different. Freddy had filled the bags with sponges. So when the donkey actually fell into the water, instead of dissolving, the sponges just became 10 times heavier than they were. The donkey did not know what to do and had to walk the rest of the distance with a very heavy load on his back. He was trying to cheat his master and he had to pay the price for it. Moral of the story: you can fool a person only a few times, not always. We shouldn't refrain from performing our duties. The end.